Should be coming back up. Stream should be coming back up. Let me know, is it coming back up? A hell of a way to start. Back up, it's back up. Okay, hello everyone. This is going to be a problem, isn't it? We're gonna have frame drops and it's gonna make me cranky and I will try to just shrug it off, but because it is a problem with my internet provider, not equipment, not local network, not configuration, something in the route to Twitch on my ISP's end, closer to, is a problem. So I really don't have much control over that, and it's going to make me crazy if it keeps happening. I've switched ingest servers, but that is not actually going to stop it. So, jeez. Good luck to all of us. I hope we don't have to put up with all this. But it's already happening again. I don't know what to say about that. Hey, Melga. Mustaches. What's up? Welcome everyone who just got here. Hasn't pinwheeled again yet. Yeah, no, but it's going to. But it's going to. There it goes. It's about to do it. You know, there's almost nothing I can say to my ISP that helps them understand the nature of the problem. You know, first couple tiers of support, they'll run speed tests. They will not acknowledge a deeper problem in a route to a certain service. They will just write it off as something on the user's end. But I'm watching it happen. It's distressing. Hello, Mr. Nissan. Good morning. Good morning, good evening. Just want to get us started here. Okay, sorry. That's good times were had by all.
Hold the Sheikah slate up to the pedestal. That will show you the way.
Yes, Tamalak, that's true. But they did a big overhaul of their backbone. Capacity shouldn't be a problem anymore. If they've already reached capacity on their new equipment, I'd be both surprised and it would be horrible for them in the long run. But I'll have to talk to them about what the possibilities are.
Link, you are the light. Our light. We must turn it once again. Now go.
Thank you for the host, Claire. Welcome. Zelda games are known for not having voice acting. They have their own little speech-like sounds, chirpy little sounds that NPCs make. This game has that too. It also has, in a few places, some voice acting for about 6 different characters. There's not a lot of voice acting. It only shows up in a couple critical cutscenes. Most of the time, there'll be a much more familiar Zelda speak. The voice acting that there is, it's not that good. So it's good that there's not a lot of it. Zelda's voice is one of the ones that I find quite pleasant. Voice acting can go either way, Melga. It can make or break immersion. I would say it is not required in many cases, and some games work better without it. Zelda, I think, is one of those games. Many open world games before Zelda have made the claim that anything you can see, anywhere you can see, you can go. Zelda feels like the first game that has actually accomplished that feat. And we can climb that mountain in the distance, or just about anything that we can find. Having started with absolutely nothing. First thing you can pick up is just a tree branch. And you can pick up an extra. There's quick access to your various weapons. And in the inventory, you start off with a pretty measly 8 weapon slots. One of the biggest complaints about this game, which gets a tremendous amount of praise, and not many complaints, but how readily weapons break. How you will constantly need to replace them with other weapons. That's probably one of the most common and first complaints. You take one of these tree branches and it breaks just like that. Hey, there's my mom. Greetings all. Can't wait to see what Zelda is about. My mother was here taking such good care of me after the surgery that I had a month ago, and a lot of that time I was up here in the easy chair playing Zelda. So she was there, but she didn't get to see it, and I know she wanted to see it. So welcome. Yep, you'll finally get to see it as long as the stream stays up. Just please stream. Please stay up. I've had so much fun with this game, and I really want to share it and show it off without having to be all cranky about tech issues that have nothing to do with the game.
Link. Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah slate.
Just what We Are Woo said. Voice acting needs to be consistent and quality for it to work. If something is half-voiced, that kind of breaks immersion. And if the voice acting is poor or just a poor fit, then that also breaks immersion. Mr. Nissan, you played for 130 hours. I think I have, according to my profile page, I had 175 hours or more, it said. And that's in a single playthrough. Till we pick up a lot of stuff, there's not much we're going to be able to do. I can run and jump, but get our first apple. You can climb nearly anything in the game, just about any surface, whether it's a tree, or a rock, or a mountain face. But your stamina will be your limiting factor as soon as you try to do that. So as the game goes on and you acquire means to travel with a little more versatility. I walk right by the old man. We're going to want to get the paraglider today as soon as possible. We'll try and get through the introduction, get the paraglider, get some better weapons, explore shrines and runes and some of the basics. Old man, I beg your pardon. I do believe that is my baked apple. You can't just go about taking whatever you please. Ha ha! Forgive me, I could not resist pulling your leg. Please, help yourself. An apple and an open flame make for a succulent treat. It's a bit strange to see another soul in these parts. I forgot how you wanted to be called. Oh, thank you for hosting the stream. Remind me, though, how you wanted us to to call you. A bit strange to see another soul in these parts. Me? I'll spare you my life story. I'm just an old fool who has lived here alone for quite some time now. What brings a bright-eyed young man like you to a place like this? Where are we? Hovis. Hovis, thank you. Had to check. Answering a question with a question. That is fair enough. I cannot imagine our meeting to be a simple coincidence. I shall tell you. This is the Great Plateau. According to legend, this is the birthplace of the entire kingdom of Hyrule. The temple there, long ago, it was the site of many sacred ceremonies. Ever since the decline of the kingdom, 100 years ago, it has sat abandoned in a state of decay. Yet another forgotten entity, a mere ghost of its former self. And then quiet old man goes quiet. What he was talking about with the apples. You could eat this baked apple, which you can't, you can drop materials, ingredients, anything that you found, weapons, armor, you can drop all of that stuff, hold it and drop it. But once it becomes food, once it's in that category, you can no longer. You drop an apple close enough to a fire, that might have bounced a little too far back. But the heat from a fire will affect anything right next to it. So even though there are better ways to go about cooking things, you put an apple near the fire, first it'll steam, become a baked apple. It might even catch fire if I leave it there and burn up. Go ahead and grab that. Torch can be used as a weapon, but it's not terribly useful as a weapon. Well then, just help yourself to that torch there. And how, may I ask, are you planning to use it? To set everything on fire. That is rather unnerving. Please be cautious with that around any dry grass that might catch fire. You know, there are plenty of monsters in this area. That torch would make a good weapon, if need be. However, do not just swing it around without purpose. You must face your opponents and lock your sights on them. Like Zelda games before it, you can lock on to targets, lock on to NPCs, focus to talk to them. And that torch will not light itself, but you can light it on any source of fire. Use it to light this other fire. Woodcutter's axe. There's no level system in Zelda. And weapons also don't have levels, but they do have variable damage, and there are a lot of different mods. So you could find the same weapon with different damages and other traits that change the way it holds up, durability increases. And you can throw any weapon. Actually, will do double damage if you connect with a weapon that you've thrown. Yeah, Melga, I don't want to jinx it, but things have been relatively stable. Butterflies are very skittish, but you can catch just about anything you can see. If you want butterflies, you're going to need to sneak up on them. Everything in the game takes stamina. Just about. I mean, running, climbing, not swinging your weapon, but swimming. I don't want to oversell things that we're going to run into. I kind of want to wait until they happen. But the game does have a collectible system. It has one single collectible system. There's a type of collectible you can find a great many of. And they're called Korok seeds. All over the world, you can encounter tiny little environmental puzzles. Group of rocks that seems out of place. I'm using the Joy-Cons. Ovis. No, I'm using them free so I can That it's extremely comfortable once you get used to it. It is for me, anyways. You'll encounter these little Koroks. Misbehave! Thank you for the host. Welcome. You're not Hetsu, but you can see me? I didn't know your kind could see the children of the forest. Well, if you run into Hestu, I always thought it was Hetsu. Hestu? Have I had his name wrong this whole time? Please return this to him. Korok seeds are the collectibles in Zelda, and there are 900 of them across the land. This small seed was given to you by a Korok. It has a distinct smell. If you gather a bunch of them, you never know what may happen. Oh, and my friends are hiding in lots of different places too. Don't be shy about poking your nose into suspicious places. Yeah, Tomalak, I'll have to give it some thought. It's possible I will not keep that sound. But I was playing with it last night. I wanted to put some Zelda sounds in, since we'll be playing this for a little while. Since swimming takes stamina, and climbing takes stamina, we don't have much stamina right now and no food to replenish it yet. A task as simple as swimming across a little pond to get to the rocks in the middle, you end up running out of stamina and basically drown. You'll be put back on the shore if you do drown. There's our first actual sword, even though it's a junky one. All of these weapons, whether they sound reasonably durable, like a woodcutter's axe, none of the weapons in this game are truly durable. But there will eventually be so many weapons available that we'll be leaving them on the ground everywhere we go. Not much I can do in the pond here. And I can't just swim around forever. If we get close enough to a fish, which I may not here because they're swimming away from me, you can pull the fish right out of the water. You can lure fish with different food and bait, though I've never actually done that. I could dash to swim a little faster, but it'll use a larger chunk of stamina. I'd end up drowning, which doesn't really matter. Lose a heart and be put back on the shore. But there'll be plenty of time for fishing. We were told to head for this location on the map. We're going to spend today's stream just in this starter area, very likely. It's going to take more than the 4 hours we've got today to do most of what's here. But this is the smallest of the areas in the game. And what you'll find once we get to that location is that they've adopted, Zelda for the first time has adopted a climb the high point to look out over the land to reveal a chunk of a map, basically Assassin's Creed style map reveals. And this tiny little area in the middle is really not that small. You're gonna see when we start to move across it just how big that is. And the game has 12 different zones, all of which are a lot larger than the one we're in now. Get a fish now if you can. I could if it really mattered. Why would you? Why do we need a fish now? Is that maybe to cook, or because we're going to need fish for side quest at some point? Fast travel is a thing, so we'll be able to move around and come back here very quickly if we want. There are quite a few different types of fish. Once we get a few different types of fish, we'll talk about that. In this version of Hyrule, the land is littered with the mechanical carcasses of these creatures. Link doesn't know a thing about them yet. Hey there, Void. What's happening? Luke, thank you for the auto host. Ancient Screw. For now, it's just another piece of loot, but eventually it'll be part of how we upgrade things. A lot of what you can take off of enemies, their parts, loot that you find in other forms, gems and minerals that you pick up, things from animals and mechanicals. It all goes into the upgrade process eventually. since I have played through the game, I have some sense of where certain things are. And I want to go grab us a good bow real quick before we even are really supposed to have it. But there are some fixed pieces of loot, certain chests, which will always be in the same place and have the same stuff in them. Most of these carcasses of guardians, we will later find out they are called, most of them have a single bit of loot. Hey there, Brad. Climbing ladders does not deplete stamina, but if you jump up them, you will deplete your stamina very quickly. I'm gonna go ahead and climb the Temple of Time. Which at one point I did just because I was exploring and I wanted to get to a high point and look out over the land. But since I know there was a good bow up here. 14 damage bow. Better than any of the swords I've picked up. Don't have any arrows for it. Yet. You can use motion controls. I thought I had the motion controls turned off. I guess the profile I'm using. Oh, hold on. We're gonna want the amiibos turned on. Motion controls. I really don't like the motion controls. There's also what they call a Pro HUD mode, which removes the mini-map and a lot of the icons on the screen. As beautiful as that is, I'm gonna want the mini-map for a reference most of the time. Middle-aged stream, auto-hosting, thank you. Thank you, man. It's gonna take some effort to remember that I don't have Link's paraglider yet, so I cannot just safely jump off of things and float down. I would fall, I would crash, I would die. Void, thank you for the host. So if that sound is unfamiliar to anyone, it's the world warp sound from Link to the Past. Densa, you're off to bed already? I guess it is that time for you. Cheers and good night. Glad you popped in before bed. And, well, I hope we get to see you for some of these streams. The goddess statue smiles upon you. But for now, that's all that happens. We'll be back soon enough. Mustaches. You like the sound? Yes? You like the sound? Thank you. Thank you for the host.
Yep.
Alright, if you bring up the quick weapon selection screen, it will pause the action. Likewise, if you go all the way to your menus, it'll pause the action. I don't have any arrows, or that would be the best way to take him down. Rusty broadsword. Now. Not only did he drop a bit of his body on the ground, but he dropped a weapon. He didn't just drop a weapon, he dropped the specific weapon he was wielding. So many times we've wanted games to give us the weapon that we saw the enemy holding. They were using that crazy bow. Oh, they had that sword, that spear. Why don't I get that spear when they die? Well, you do. You do in Breath of the Wild. If they're using a crappy club, you get a crappy club. If they're using an awesome sword, you get an awesome sword. And no matter how much they use it in combat, when you first pick it up, it will be in pristine condition. First arrow. If you look carefully, these tree branches, the torch, everything except for that sword I swung has a little spark. That little pulsing spark. There's not much of an indicator about what durability you have in your weapons. Hey, Daisy, welcome. Perfect. Yes, look at all the links. Good to see you, Daisy. Have you gotten a chance to play this yet? So you won't have much of an indication about your weapons and when they're about to break, but there is something. When they are in pristine condition, you'll have that little gold spark. After a couple swings, that will be a silver spark. After a few more swings, it will be no spark at all. And when they're about to break, the entire weapon box will be shown in red. Yeah, there's another good point, Crash. Some games let you pick up arrows that have missed their targets, and some let you pick up some arrows that have missed their targets. Your arrows will not break. If they miss their target, you can pick them back up again. It's very gamer friendly. Nothing too harsh there. If enemies shoot arrows at you, you can generally pick up the arrows that they shot at you. Although people were exploiting that in certain places. And 5 arrows. People were exploiting that, so the game has been patched so that enemies will not just shoot arrows that will remain on the ground infinitely. So you can only get 10 or 20 arrows. So there's a 5 damage bow. You have quick select for bows as well as weapons and shields. Let's save that that better bow, that 14 damage bow, for other things. What's the durability on the bow itself? You don't. It's same sort of situation. The bows will show with a little spark that is gold when they're pristine, silver after a few uses, no indicator at all after it's been fired a few times, and eventually it'll flash red when it's about to break. Everything does break eventually. And except the Master Sword, Link's famous sword, which makes an appearance in every single Zelda game, as far as I know. Are there any exceptions to that? I'm not aware of it. Even though you can loot all of these broken guardians, almost all of them, the hitbox for where you can loot them is a little hard to find sometimes. It's usually on the ground. So we've been tasked with almost nothing. You know, we don't have much of a mission yet. We don't know who we are, anyone is, what we're supposed to do. We have a grand total of 1 quest, and it's to follow the Sheikah Slate, that disembodied voice of Zelda telling us to go to the point on the map. Brad, I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. I'll be a lot better if the stream can stay up. I just want to have a good time, and it's so hard. It's so hard to relax when the stream keeps crapping out, so we'll see what happens. If you can land a headshot, you'll get extra damage. If you can attack without something having seen you, you can sneak up behind them and do a stealthy attack. Arrows do follow an arc. And if you're trying to hit something that's too far away, you may find that your arrow falls short, but you can aim above the target, get used to how much the arrow is going to drop over distance, and make much longer range shots than you could by straight targeting something. Sort of. Yeah, Daisy, sort of. Having some internet issues since last week, when my service had a complete outage for a few hours. They don't seem to have straightened all of it out since they fixed what was not working. Things have continued to be spotty. But you see how that sword is now flashing red? It is about to break. 1 or 2 swings and it's gonna break. Hey, Rage Mage! Hail, Warrior of Hyrule! Hail, Rage Mage! And you were having a blast last night. That was a kick-ass stream. I don't know how many of you saw or missed it, but Rage Mage was streaming the Necromancer beta for Diablo 3. And there's just a ton of people hanging out watching, and it was a really good time. If you don't know Rage Mage, check him out, give him a follow. Excellent streamer, and the whole Rage Nation is a lot of fun, so you don't want to miss out. Right now, we're so wimpy we can't even break barrels. Throwing a barrel against something, nah, nothing. But later on, We're going to be breaking much tougher things than barrels. As Crash points out, you get twice the damage. It's if you throw it, you get twice the damage. So if it's about to break, you may as well throw it. And then if you connect, you're going to get more damage with that last hit, which is going to break your weapon anyways. You can climb just about any tree, but ones which are big enough sometimes have things up in them, like bird eggs and other things. You can hack down or blow up most trees, but not the really thick trunked ones. So if if the trunk is thick enough that you can reach a point where you can stand up in it, you're not going to be able to blow that tree up or hack that tree down. But most everything else you can. Alright. Since I wasn't able to grab that butterfly before, do you see those two butterflies up ahead? There are quite a few different types of butterflies and lizards and other things, and the way to get near them is just to sneak up on them, crouch and sneak up on them. There's many different outfits, armor, sets, and in addition to having set bonuses, individual pieces have effects. There's stealth armor and fireproof armor and heat-resistant armor and warm gear for cold climates and stuff that helps you climb. Things that make you glow at night, disguises to look like different types of enemies. So much that it'll take us a while to get there. Summerwing butterfly, found in the woods and plains of warm regions. Its wings absorb the warmth of the sun. Cook it with monster parts to create an elixir that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. When we get to talking about cooking, a little more, when we're actually able to do some cooking, we have a few things to cook, we'll talk more about it, but for now, just going to collect everything and suggest that you collect everything you can find. You can often spot enemies well before they notice you. Enemies will lay down and go to sleep by campfires, cook things, dance around. They'll do their thing, and however you want to come at them, you can. You can often set up something of a trap for them. Or you might be given some environmental options. Oh shit. Missed him. Alright, Hovis, have a good stream. We'll catch you later. I can't carry any more melee weapons. I'd rather take clubs to tree branches. So I'm going to go ahead and drop those tree branches I picked up. Pick up their clubs until we have better stuff to work with. Is there an inventory weight limit? There is, Tomalak. Initially, you can carry... It's not really a weight limit. You can carry up to 8 melee weapons. Looks like they give you 5 bow slots to start. You can hold as many different arrow types as you come across, and there are elemental arrows and other special arrows. Armor does not really seem limited. You can pick up every piece of armor you come across. Materials, crafting materials, cooking materials, there does not seem to be a limit on that. You can pick up every single type, and they will stack. Food, there is a limit. You can hold, I think it's 3 pages, roughly. It's either 3 or 4 pages, so about 60 or 80 different food items that are already cooked. But you can expand on these. So where you start being able to hold 8 melee weapons, you can eventually have a full page and hold 20. You'll need to collect a lot of those little Korok seeds by finding little environmental inconsistencies. You find the Koroks, they give you seeds. Later on, you meet an NPC. You can trade those seeds for upgrades. The slots increasingly cost a lot. The 9th slot might only cost 1 seed, but the 20th slot is going to cost 65 seeds. So it goes up incrementally. Bows, likewise. You can keep upgrading to hold a lot more bows, and we don't have any shields yet. Same thing for shields. You're going to want to pick up everything. If there's a plant or an animal part, you're going to want to pick it up. It'll all be useful at some point. So we don't have to head for the objective, but let's do that. What feels like a massive world right away, and is really just this tiny little plateau in the middle of a massive world, does offer a whole lot of opportunity to ditch the quest and just go wherever you want to go. There are quite a few different types of frogs, and they will get away from you fast. A lot of little critters will despawn after you try to catch them. If you don't catch them right away, many of them will run off and despawn. Hot-footed frog can be cooked for speed buffs. That one did despawn. There I am, about to be spotted. See the little question mark filling with red? Stealth in the game really works quite well. Things will spot you over a great distance, especially if they're high up. Enemies will often put a lookout on platforms. But if you do manage to sneak up behind something, you get some bonus damage. Often take them out in one hit. There's our first shield. Sword. So I broke that rusty sword, and the Traveler's Sword, even though you would think a nice metal sword is a whole lot better than a wooden club, they're really about the same, just one damage point difference, and eventually we'll get weapons that go up into the 60s for damage. But for now, it's pretty wimpy. We've got a shield. And if we actually had an enemy to lock onto, so you can do backflips and side jumps, and there is parrying. If I can sneak up on one of these. The metal sword probably breaks faster than the wood club too. Also depends on what you're hitting. If you use swords on soft, squishy things, they work quite well. If I can manage to parry. Oh, he's got a using a bow at close range. Arrows. Boko bow. Crappy little wooden bow. To block all the haters. What's up, Lance? Welcome. Ah. See that arrow stuck through my shield? I haven't used shields a lot in this game. I usually hoard them but don't use them. Wonder how long that will stay stuck in the shield. Pretty cool. I don't think I noticed that in 175 hours. Don't think I had that happen. I ended up mostly carrying metal shields, so that might be part of it. Till it breaks. Yeah, it's not a very good shield. I bet you the arrow goes away if I pull out the bow and then pull out sword and shield again. Shield no longer has that arrow stuck in it. If you unequip and re-equip it, yeah, it just disappeared. Too bad it didn't drop to the ground, but not really a big deal. We've been told to come to this point by the disembodied voice. These terminals that we can interface with are all across the land for different purposes. Tower activated. So this is what they took from no longer just say Assassin's Creed. Please watch for falling rocks. First time special. all across the land, in the 12 different zones, these towers rise from the ground. Hold those thoughts. Hey, final. Yeah, Brad. For me personally, it's far and away the best Zelda. I have not played every single Zelda, but I've been playing them since the very first one. Shadow of War, is that the sequel to Shadow of Mordor? If it is, I wasn't clear on the name, but yeah, that'll be fun to play too. I did not stream the first one. I have played it before I started streaming, so maybe we'll play through that too. Maybe we'll just wait for the sequel. But this regional map, the plateau that we're on, where the tutorial effectively takes place, until we get a certain item, paraglider, that lets us leave the plateau without dying, we are stuck on the plateau. To get that paraglider, you can go nearly anywhere, in theory.
You have been asleep for the past 100 years. The beast. When the beast regains its true power, this world will face its end. Now then, you must hurry, Link. Before it's too late.
The Wii U version is the same game. This was originally developed for the Wii U, and then development shifted towards the Switch, and then released on both. Slightly lower resolution, slightly more frame rate hiccups. Other than that, I think they are identical. Or maybe the Wii U version uses the second screen on the Wii U gamepad for map functions or something else. Blasted Gaming, hey, welcome. So the voice acting that's in here is not that good, but Zelda's disembodied voice, I do like Zelda's voice. And from up here on the tower, of course, we can see much further. We can see things that are well beyond the plateau that we're in now. We're going to be investigating the shrines, our first shrines, real soon. You can mark things from a distance so that when you're down on the ground and can no longer see them, you have markers on your map, mini-map. Other towers, areas we can't even get to yet. Right here is the edge of the plateau. These broken walls, the edge of the plateau, there's a real big drop, and we cannot climb down. We don't have enough stamina to climb down. So until we get that item that will help us glide down, we're stuck on the relatively small plateau. Considering the power in the Switch, which is a very limited amount of power, it has a mobile chipset in it. One of the better mobile chipsets, but it's still effectively a mobile device that, in terms of power, that docks and goes full screen. But it has to do all that with a mobile chipset, and they really do a good job with it. And what I was gonna try and point out is how well they handle the draw distance. You won't necessarily be able to see the enemies walking around, but you will be able to look way, way far away over the terrain to places you can actually get to. And they're not they're not kludged at all. I mean, the shape of the terrain is shown over distance accurately. Not sure what I'm trying to say, but we can't just jump down. Not yet. Not here. At least they give us a couple platforms. Jump into the haystack. That's what we want. Oh my. It would seem we have quite the enigma here. This tower and others just like it have erupted across the land, one after another. It's almost as though a long dormant power has awoken quite suddenly. If you do not mind me asking, did anything odd occur while you were atop the tower? Yes. Well now, a voice, you say. And did you happen to recognize this mysterious voice? Well, maybe I did. Maybe not. I see. Well, that is unfortunate. I assume you caught sight of that atrocity enshrouding the castle? That is Calamity Ganon. 100 years ago, that vile entity brought the kingdom of Hyrule to ruin. It appeared suddenly and destroyed everything in its path. So many innocent lives were lost in its wake. For a century, the very symbol of our kingdom, Hyrule Castle, has managed to contain that evil, but just barely. There it festers, building its strength for the moment it will unleash its blight upon the land once again. It would appear that moment is fast approaching. I must ask you, courageous one, do you intend to make your way to the castle? I do. I had a feeling you would say that. Here on this isolated plateau, we are surrounded on all sides by steep cliffs, with no way down. If you were to try to jump off, well, no death could be more certain, or more foolish. Ooh. Of course, if you had a paraglider like mine, that would be quite another story. Hand it over, old man. Oh, certainly, why not? But there is no such thing as a free item in this world, you know. Let's see now. How about I trade it for a bit of treasure that slumbers nearby? There are about a dozen main quests in the game. Other categories that we can't get to now include side quests and special environmental puzzles called shrine quests. The shrines are miniature dungeons. Hard to call them dungeons. They're small puzzles. But there are also environmental puzzles to unlock additional shrines. There's a great many of those. And then there is a large number of side quests. I think 70, maybe 75 side quests. I may have my numbers wrong. And there are 18 memories that you can uncover, Link's memories throughout the game. But we'll get there. The isolated plateau. We heard the voice coming from the castle, and this old man said he will give you his paraglider in exchange for the treasure that lies nearby. Come, let me show you something. That would be nice if we could... What's this? No, I'm just kidding around. Just kidding. Just kidding. Kidding. Oh, he didn't like that at all. You see that structure there? The one shining with a strange light? It began glowing at the exact moment those towers rose up from the ground. I would think such a place might house some sort of treasure, wouldn't you? Treasure for the paraglider. A fair exchange, I believe. Okay. As open as the game is already, this plateau does serve as a tutorial. These first shrines we visit do serve to unlock the basic skills that we will need. Powers, if you will, called runes in the game. I can't even select them right now. But, in most Zelda games, as you explore the dungeons will have their own puzzles that you need to solve, many of which require a certain item or a certain power you could generally find in those dungeons. See what happens if I run out of stamina? I'll let Link run out of stamina here. Try to chase these fish. You run out of stamina while you're swimming, you drown, you'll lose a heart and be put back on the shore. So it's not the biggest deal, but if you don't have a lot of healing items, it can be a pretty big deal. Probably swim across, but even that would be close until we have a little more stamina. There are gear sets to help with nearly everything, including swimming. And if you run out of stamina, you will have to wait until it is completely refilled before you can use it again. No, you can push on most things that are big and stationary, but potentially movable. Doesn't mean you'll be able to push them around. This big rock, I think, is metallic. We'll have some means to deal with that later. Treasure chests all over the land, some buried in the earth, some in the water, some just laying there. There's nothing we can do to get that one quite yet. Or that one. And Crash talking about taking pictures. We can't take pictures yet. We don't have any powers yet. But we will soon. If you do happen to pre-order the DLC, there is for the first time going to be a bit of an expansion to the game. 2 pieces of content, story content, coming later in the year. They drop a couple extra chests for you if you pre-ordered that. But that ruby doesn't do us much good yet. We'll need lots of them later. Each time you come across a shrine, I'll have to activate it, at which point it becomes a fast travel point on the map. Then the shrine itself opens up to you. You don't have to go in. When you unlock a shrine, you can, if you choose, just move on and keep it marked. You can fast travel to a tower. You can fast travel to a shrine that you've identified. You can mark the map with your own stamps if you want to come back to something later. And I don't think I can give you much of a sense of the size of the game yet with just a single map. We're over in the northeast corner by a shrine, and this starter area has a lot of terrain, places we can't hardly even get to yet. It has different climates. I don't think it has any particularly hot climates, but if you climb up some of the mountains, some of these areas are very cold, and if you don't take proper precautions, you're not going to be able to survive there for long. Game does have an autosave, but it doesn't hurt to make some manual saves as well. You can only have one manual save at a time. It will always overwrite itself, and I think there are 5 staggered autosaves that will replace themselves. Go in the broken wall and show us, plus there's a chest over there. There's a lot of broken wall, so I don't precisely know where you have in mind for me to go. or which chest you're thinking of, but as soon as we get the paraglider, we can explore the world at large. And if we chose to head for other towers and climb them to unlock pieces of the map, or reveal more of the map, there are a number of... They don't look that far away from here. There's a tower, there's a tower, there's a tower. They're a lot further apart than they might look. There's no need to rush anything in this game, and I don't plan on rushing, but I do want to get the basic powers, the runes, which we mostly pick up here and now on the plateau in the first few shrines. There are so many great views in this game, Crash. We're not going to miss out on them. This may not have the same clarity that a game like The Witcher does, but it has every bit as much beauty in the scenery, the sunsets and sunrises, looking out from a mountain peak into the distance. So, soon as we have a good opportunity to, we will stop for the good views. We don't need to go chasing them down. They will be all around us, and we will have lots of chances. These first few shrines are a little different than the latter ones, because in these first few shrines you are granted a power in each of them until you've accumulated all the basic powers. There's over 100 shrines to find in the game, and most of them offer their own puzzles and rewards, but they don't all grant powers. You end up with a set of powers after the initial few shrines, and you will need them throughout the game. So this shrine, the Magnesis Trial, grants us our first rune. Magnesis, grab onto metallic objects using the magnetic energy that pours forth from the Magnesis rune. Objects held in the magnetic snare can be lifted up and moved freely. Even though these are small puzzles and not large dungeons, in a way, these are... these first few are kind of like the classic Zelda dungeon format where you need a certain item or power to be able to get through. So in this case, I want to show us what we can do. We can lift anything that's not nailed down and is made of metal. Bring it closer, push it further away. It really can manipulate it over a huge distance. It's quite powerful. Right away. You can drop it on enemies. If you had something big and heavy, drop it on top of anything you'd like. Does a lot more damage than some weapons, even. Stone blocks and one magnetic block. Even though in the game you can climb on almost any surface, shrines are considered different because they are so ancient. The way they tell it, the walls of these ancient structures are so smooth you can't climb them. So you can sometimes climb things that are within them. That little critter is our first activated guardian. But it's the weakest sort. A single shot from a pretty basic bow with a regular arrow does the trick. Most shrines, although I don't think all these first ones, most shrines have, in addition to your goal, getting out, and the orb that you receive for getting out, most of them have at least one other chest that can be found. Big doors are metal. And at the end of each shrine, we will come to the same... What should we call this? A mummy? A chest is there. I should have gone down in the water. You still can. You said top left of big door. So after you talk to the mummy at the end, you'll be warped out of the shrine, but you can go back in if you did not get a chest. May the goddess smile upon you. Even though you get warped out of the shrine, if you think you missed something, you can go back in. If you want to go back later, you can go back in later. It may just be an opal, but it's worth making a point of it. Uh-oh. Old man's back. Seems you managed to get your hands on a spirit orb. Well done. Paraglider, please. I encourage you to slow down for a moment, my courageous friend. The appearance of those towers and the awakening of this shrine. All connected to that Sheikah slate you carry on your hip there. What are you talking about? It has been quite some time since I've seen that Sheikah slate. Long ago, a highly advanced tribe known as the Sheikah inhabited these lands. The great power of their wisdom saved this kingdom time and time again. But their ancient technology disappeared long ago, or so it is said. It is interesting, however, to think how something like that survived all this time, hidden away in a shrine. These shrines are tucked away in numerous places all across this land. On this plateau alone, I believe there are still 3 more. Bring me the treasure from each of those shrines, and I will give you my paraglider. You lied, old man. That wasn't the deal. Oh, well, I suppose I changed my mind. I'm sure that won't be a problem for a young go-getter like you. Since I'm feeling generous, I will also teach you a trick for finding shrines. It's always best to survey the area by looking around from a high point. Let's see here. How about you make your way to the top of that tower again? You kidding me? Aha! I'm afraid not, but do not worry. I have another little trick to share with you for your effort. Take a look at the map on your Sheikah slate. See those blue icons? You should recognize the cave where you woke, the shrine you came from, and the tower. You can travel instantly to any of those places with the Sheikah slate. Or so I heard quite some time ago. I do not know if it actually works as such. It does, but before we go back up there, you can re-enter shrines. You will not have to complete the puzzle again. But the puzzle will be reset. So what that means is if you're going back in for loot that's partway through the shrine, you may have to complete again part of whatever the puzzle was to get there. Not much for us. You already have the power, you never lose the power. Some powers don't require recharging. Right now we just have magnesis, but you can always use magnesis. It's always ready. Other powers will have recharge times. We'll get there soon enough. Crash was saying it was up. Up. Could climb these. Some things you can climb onto if it's low enough. Does not mean you can necessarily climb the side of. Next room. Oh, I see it right up there. You can also use magnesis at quite a distance. I can't quite get it from here. Let's see how close we have to be. Should be able to get it from here. Good enough. And magnesis can be used to pull things out of water, out of sand, frozen in the snow, buried in the dirt. There's an extra bow. I'll take it. You can exit the same way you did before, or you can exit from the entrance if you're closer to the front. But you don't get another orb for completing the shrine again. Our first task is to gather our powers. We go visit the shrines on the plateau, collect most of the powers, which later can be upgraded in different ways. The old man said, go back to the top of the tower. Fast travel can be done at any point, even mid-combat. You can be falling through the air towards your inevitable death and fast travel safely away. You're in a fight you can't win and you don't think you can get away from it, and you can fast travel away from that. Bottomless bog. Yeah, there are bodies of bog-like water, mud, quicksand that you will sink into and you will not be able to just get out of. Can't swim through. Surprised it took you so long to catch up with an old man like me. Did you fly, old man? Can you fly, Bobby? Ah, so you think an old man like me needs to fly to stay ahead of you? I still have a few tricks left in me. Now then, I wanted you to join me up here so you could use this as a vantage point to search for shrines. Did you know about the scope on your Sheikah slate? Look through it and you can stick a pin anywhere you'd like to mark the map. You can put as many stamps as you'd like, but there's only 6 different colored pins that can be out at any one time. Got it. Go ahead and take a look if you feel inclined to do so. But while I did not mark this shrine because it's off in an area I can't get to yet, I could mark it with a pin. If we needed to, we can remove that pin. If we wanted to place stamps, we can place as many stamps as we'd like. If there's something you can't pick up or you want to come back to, stamps are good. Pins are the only ones visible on your mini-map, though. You can see the yellow and the red. Boy, I wish I had that paraglider. I'm going to fast travel back down to that shrine. Once we do have the paraglider, you would not fast travel down from a tower. You would jump off the edge and glide down. And if I have any real goal for today, this first stream of Zelda, it's to get that paraglider. Did you use the stamps a lot and pin? I used the pins a lot to orient myself where I was headed. Stamps I eventually used because even with almost a full page of weapon slots, I was finding so many more cool weapons, elemental weapons, beefed up weapons, that I just couldn't carry them all. So I had to start marking spots on the map where I had seen treasure chests. If you open a chest and you can't take what's inside it, you can generally walk away from that chest and it will still be there. It will not despawn until you've used it. You saw a couple chests sitting in the water here. And what was that about the plank crash? Using the plank to get to some arrows. A lot of gems and minerals could be picked up, and in this case, amber, opal, rubies, sapphires, diamonds, what else? Opals. Opal contains the power of water. There is the cooking mechanic in this game is very elaborate. You can use it simply. You can cook anything, and you can cook things by themselves. But the rest, there isn't really a separate crafting mechanic. Okay, let me stop what I was saying. Creatures which come out at night in the form of skeletons stall. There's a lot of different ones, but they all share one thing. When you hit them, they will break apart, but the head will retain hit points. You can pick up the head this might not work because the water's not too deep. But yeah, if you if you drop kick ahead or smash it again with a weapon, that's what will actually kill the skeleton. So, skeleton that was using a spear dropped his spear. The one that was using a club dropped a club. I can't carry any more melee weapons, and spears are good. I want that spear. So I'll just drop one of these clubs and take the spear instead. You can even pick up the arms of skeletal enemies. They're very fragile, although there's actually a suit of armor you can get which has a set bonus that makes these much more durable. But yeah, these arms that are left behind, you can use those as weapons too. So Crash, you were saying if I take this plank over to the nearby bog, I think I know where you're talking about. This might look like water from a distance, but if you look closely, it's actually a murky bog. Brown bubbling bog. Effectively quicksand. You don't usually go running across the landscape with items held by magnesis. I think I waited to get these chests until later. Might have, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I did. But good call, Crash. Call. 5 ice arrows. When you have your bow out, you can also switch that bow with its own little quick menu. You can choose your arrows, which type of arrows. You can do that mid-combat. You can have your bow drawn and switch what bow you're holding. Switch what arrow you're using. Do that anytime. Poop water! Hey, Mega Goat. Yes, it is. Don't fall in the poop water. One thing Magnesis does that's pretty helpful is spot objects. Just because it has this extreme contrast view of things. You can often find things which are underwater or in a bog. And that Korok seed we picked up, I had jumped into a little ring of lily pads, formed a circle in the water. There's about 6 different types, give or take a couple, of Korok seed puzzles. One of them... Shit. Bye, Link. Bye. One of them is the... putting the rock in a hole. If you find a ball on a chain, probably a Korok seed puzzle, and nearby there will be something to drop it into. You found me! Remember, there are 900 of these across the world to find. In 175 hours of playing, I only found about 200. Oh yeah, Seastar, that's a good point. So these crates over here, even if I had bombs... No, actually, bombs would break these. Bombs would break these. But metal crates can be lifted real high and dropped to break them, dropped on other things, dropped on enemies. 5 more arrows. Baked apple, another arrow. Even a big boulder like this can be picked up with magnesis. And remember, if magnesis gets an upgrade that makes it work over a greater distance. Roasted bass. Anything that can be found as a food item can also be cooked, and sometimes in more than one way, and that's by itself. If you take a raw fish, you can eat it and get 1 heart back. If you cook it by itself, it'll, I think, become a fish skewer, but there's so many different food items that you can make by singularly cooking things or combining it with other things. We'll get to cooking, but when you cook something, it generally will double the amount of effect. So if this heals 1 heart, a cooked version of this will heal 2 hearts. That's different than the roasted bass. We won't get a roasted bass if we cook this in a cooking pot. Roasted bass and a baked apple, those are things that have just been held near heat. So if there were a campfire and you dropped the fish on the ground next to it, it would roast like that. Hey, Void. Got 2 Voids in here right now. Void and Void. Hyrule Herb. Almost everything food-like or plant-like can be eaten to get a little bit of health back, but almost none of it is worth eating to get health back when you can cook them to greater effect. Keese, the bats of Zelda land. In Hyrule, the bats are called Keese, and there are different types: elemental Keese, fire and ice, and these are the plain ones. They drop different body parts that can be used in elixirs. Can explore along the wall here. Crash, I'm still not sure which part of the wall, which chest you're thinking of, although I vaguely remember there being at least one chest out by the edge of the wall. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. We've got 2 more shrines, 3 more shrines, and at least one of them's marked. That marked. There's no shrine over there by the Eastern Abbey, is there? Beauty Biscuits, auto-hosting. I've not been looking enough at chat. Thank you for the host, Beauty Biscuits, if you're out there. And everyone who's hosted today, thank you for all that host love. So you can do backflips, jump from side to side if you're locked onto something. Again, trying to parry the one who's shooting a bow at me. Unless you destroy the head, they will continue to live. More importantly, if it's a pack, you have to destroy all the heads before the bodies start to disappear. And a body may run around without a head for quite a while if you have left some of the pack unattended to. Up that arm for now. So I should have actually marked a couple other shrines on the plateau as it was suggested by the old man. We can just cruise around the edges for now. May not want to climb every tree, although it can be fun to climb a bunch of trees. They won't all have something up there. You get a little perspective. Find what's around you without having to climb one of the big towers. Just climb a tree. Lots of enemy camps will have a treasure chest that does not unlock until you've dealt with the whole camp. Like they're going after that boar. A lot of things you can sell to make money in the game, but perhaps none easier than hunting the animals around Hyrule. And if a lookout spots you, they will alert everyone with their horn, often bringing more. Weapons have, I think, a sequence of 4 attacks, and the 4th attack will generally do a lot more damage. I think it's different for two-handed and one-handed weapons. I think you can knock enemies down or knock them back with the second swing from a two-handed weapon, but it might take 4 swings with a one-handed weapon. Hey, Future. Darth. What's up? What's up? Welcome both. Thinking I should maybe have gone to the eastern part of the map. I know where there is one of the shrines, first shrines we need to visit out that way. Hey there, Eva. Hey, Jay in chat. Yeah, Future, I did decide on Saturday. See that lizard on the tree? She's looking at me. He might run off. If I crouch and sneak up, should be able to grab him. Hightail lizard. Speed boost is its property if you cook with it. Well, Darth, you got here right at the beginning. Tower like this. It's not one of the towers that uncovers parts of the map. It's just its own thing. May not have enough stamina to get up this right now. I think I do. Start off with 1 ring of stamina. In Zelda games, you can, the 3 hearts in the corner, you can get more hearts by acquiring heart containers. Way of beefing up your health in a Zelda game. You can also get stamina containers in Breath of the Wild, which will give you a 2nd ring of stamina, and even a 3rd ring if you get enough of them. Gonna be close. Jump to the top. All right. I think I would have fallen short if I had kept climbing. And leaping ahead uses a big chunk of stamina, but even if you don't have a big enough chunk, jumping would take this much. Even if you only have this much left, you can still jump with that last remaining bit of stamina, and if it gets you to the top, then you're up. And arrows. Fortunately, I now have to climb down since I don't have a paraglider yet. It would be death to jump. Wonder how much of a fall Link could take here. Yeah, alright. Not bad. We need our other stasis, we need our other powers like stasis and bombs, and we're not going to be able to do too much until we get those. Charlie Quinn, hey Mr. J. Hey to you. Darth, I think a lot of people would call out Ocarina of Time as their favorite game, or favorite Zelda game at least. Yeah, I know. I did mark a couple, but I did not mark them all. I think I only marked one of the ones on the plateau. Deliberately did not mark the ones which are off the plateau. So you can't do any proper cooking at a plain old campfire. There are campfires that have a metal cooking pot on top of them. That's where you can do some proper cooking. Alright, see the 3 bokoblins down there? If we can get this rock to budge. Uno mas. Boom. Warp back and mark, possibly in a second. Yeah. So, jump attacks are definitely a thing. Get off the rock, Link. Shit. Jump attacks are a thing. I can do that too. See the wind currents streaming along here. I don't really have anything to show you getting caught in the wind, but you can certainly ride the wind when you have a paraglider. You drop lightweight objects. A strong wind like that will send them tumbling along. Be saving those fire and ice arrows for special occasions. Explosive barrels do just what you would think if you fired a fire arrow or a bomb arrow, or carried any fire over to this. In fact, here, let me see if I can make a point of this. Here, I grab the torch, go grab fire from this campfire. You can also light wooden weapons like clubs on fire. If you swing them into fire, they will catch on fire. There will be a flaming club. If I set this grass on fire, it should spread. And the wind is going to take it in that direction pretty quickly. You can hit those fire barrels any second. I'm surprised it didn't take that little tower down. Dry grass will just burn and burn. And keep spreading until all that it can reach is burned out. You might notice the draft there's now an updraft from the heat created by the burning grass. If I had the paraglider, we could ride that right up into the air. Yeah, if we had a club out, we could set the club on fire. Uh-oh. Nice. I burned away really fast. Set myself on fire. Autosaves are not every few minutes. They seem to trigger with certain types of events, so we might be back up on the ledge. That was a good first death. Burning yourself up. Look at how cool it is to set everything on fire! You get the idea. Play with fire, you're gonna get burned, kid. You're gonna get burned. You definitely have to watch out for environmentals. You can use them to your advantage, but you definitely have to watch out for them too. Alright, let's fast travel back to the top of the tower, see if we can spot a couple of the other shrines that are on the plateau. One of them is over here. I know why that confused me before. I was thinking that was the Temple of Time. There is definitely a shrine right over here. I can spot a couple others. Darth, alas, I did not. D-Star, you saw that command, huh? Cool, thank you. No, that one weighs heavily on me. Having to walk away from that. I'm trying not to think about it. Three more. Having trouble finding the shrines? Yeah, man, help me out here. Just remembered something that may help you. You can review some of the abilities you've learned on the pause screen. Don't think that helps us find the shrines. If you're searching for shrines, use the scope on your slate. He did already tell us. I think this one might be outside of the plateau. No, it is just on the edge of the plateau. And this one up here, is that also on the plateau, or is that off? Yeah, see, that one's far off in the distance. Unless the target just went too far off. When you're really zoomed in. Oh, it's actually on the plateau. So by missing the target by an inch, picked something way off in the distance. So that should be it. We've got 3 more shrines on the plateau to get to. Let's head to the Eastern Abbey first. Rango, not a stupid question at all. Are there any large cities, or is it all wild stuff? There are a number of villages. I wouldn't call them large cities, but Zelda games often bring you into contact with the same races over and over again. The Goron, the Zora, the Gerudo. They all make an appearance here. I'm not sure where the Rito, which are the bird people, I don't know where they first made an appearance. Does anyone know where the Rito first appeared in a Zelda game? It feels so limited without the paraglider. Psycho Baldrian, hey, welcome. So one good thing about this week, besides playing, this is gonna be my game of the year, unless a miracle happens with Red Dead or who knows, But this will likely be my game of the year, and it's only April, so I'm really excited to be playing a game that I love so much. Was so surprised by this. I have not played through all the Zelda games, and many of the ones I've played I never even completed. And I've already got more than 175 hours in this one, and I absolutely adore it. But the other cool thing about this week, besides playing a game that I'm so excited to be playing, much as I really wanted to like Andromeda, that didn't work out. We're going to be doing 4-hour streams this week instead of the 3-hour streams we were doing last week. And if that all goes well, next week I might bump them up to 5-hour streams. I'd like to get us back to 6-hour streams as soon as possible. And it may not happen that quickly. I might need to spend a couple weeks doing 4-hour streams to adjust. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So in about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to take a break and then come back, and we'll play a couple more hours today. There'll be a 4-hour stream tomorrow, and I'm planning to stream Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week as well. Tomalak, the Rito, also known as the Bird People, are a recurring race in the Legend of Zelda series. They're a race of bird-like humanoids who first appear in Wind Waker. Wind Waker. Okay. Oh, and Woo, you said that already, Bird People in Wind Waker. But they were supposed to be evolved from the Zora in Wind Waker. I didn't know much about the Rito, but I definitely didn't know that. So those ancient carcasses, these things are evil. See if I can show you without dying what they do. Not quite. I was hoping to get it to blast without getting hit by the blast. Fire. After they track you for a few seconds, they will loose an incredibly deadly beam that is a one-hit kill at this point in the game. Eventually, be able to take those down without too much trouble. Right now, they spell doom. What's that? Woo, pretty sure you can't without dying? Does that show off the laser blast? If you time it right, you can actually outrun the blast. You just have to be running fast at that time when they fire. You have arrows, you can kill him. I do, but I don't want to waste my arrows on him. I think with the 14 damage bow, 500 hit points. I think those stationary guardians have 500 hit points. I'd have to use a lot of arrows and shred my one good bow. So we'll come back for revenge on those things. Although you can drop metallic objects on many enemies to damage them, I'm not so sure about guardians. I don't know if you can drop metal objects on guardians and do real damage. So the Korok seeds and the Korok puzzles, the one collectible in the game is these Korok seeds you find all over the map. And there's different types of little environmental puzzles, things that stand out that they can be found at. Sometimes it's a lone rock, so you may as well pick up every rock. Sometimes there's a critter under a rock. Sometimes it's a Korok seed. Korok with the Korok seed. Sometimes there's nothing. But picking up each rock you find is generally a good idea. You missed that seed. What did you do? It's there's a little metal door just laying here, and when you lift that door, it's hiding a rock, one of the rocks that has a Korok seed. They really lay these things out around this shrine to be evil. Wait until it settles down, because I got to run back the other way to get to the shrine. It's going to get me. Fortunately, where we're going is right over here. Every shrine has its own name. This is one of those DLC. There are 3 chests, and there's really not much in them. You get a Nintendo Switch shirt. It cannot be upgraded. It is not a good piece of armor. Really, all it's good for is doing that for a few minutes here and there. Suppose if you wanted to make a challenge run out of the game, you could wear that no armored shirt the whole time. But when they do release some of the DLC content, the actual content that's coming in the fall and in the winter, one of the things they have announced is that there is going to be a hard mode for the game. I don't know if that's coming with the first or second patches. Sea Star, eventually you will be able to buy those ancient arrows. They're not too expensive. So it's just kind of a little pre-order token. If you do order the DLC ahead of time, they drop 3 chests on the Great Plateau. One of them has a T-shirt, and the other 2 just... Did we get a ruby out of one of them? Not really much of anything. Ravelron. About hero mode? Is that what they're calling it? Hero mode? I thought it just was hard mode. Maybe it said hero mode. But an increased difficulty setting for the game is coming with the DLC later. No, there doesn't seem to be any new game plus. Actually, when you beat the game, the autosave that they make for you, which is marked as having completed the game, takes place before the final battle. So if you want to keep playing after you beat the game, you're forced to load a save that is technically before that battle. So it's not really an NG+, and I don't know what they're going to do with the DLC. Chica's Slate, authenticated, distilling rune. So, not only did we get bombs, we got 2 different types of bombs. One round, one square. The round ones will, unsurprisingly, roll. Although even the square ones can get caught in the wind or roll down a hill. They just won't roll smoothly, as they are cubes. And one of my favorite things, and I think you could probably say where it originated, in the original Zelda game, and many of the first few Zelda games, bombs were a finite commodity you had to purchase or find. But all you have now, you can detonate them whenever you want, is a timer. And it's a pretty quick timer. And you can upgrade this rune, the bomb runes, at a later point in the game, and then they will be even quicker to recharge. Set a square thing down on a steep slope, it will roll. Yes, and you can blow yourself up quite easily. No, I didn't mean to do that. Or let's just say I did. But in the absence of a weapon, you can do damage, not a tremendous amount, but you can do damage with bombs, and they're probably the best way to take down skeletal creatures. Well-aimed, well-timed bomb explosions will not only break them up into their bits and pieces, but you can use, has to be a little better aim, but you can blow up the head that bounces around with hit points afterwards. Our first two-handed weapon, and I'll have to make room for it. So that chest closes again, and if I leave the shrine, having not looted that chest, the chest will stay. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this bokoblin arm. It's probably the most fragile thing I have right now. Just because it's making a noise, I'll go ahead and eat something. I may as well eat something that's already cooked, since you can't drop or use it for anything else. Soon we will have much better foods. Foods that heal an entire health bar, fill up your entire stamina wheel in one shot. Should have put it a little further, but that should work. Behind me? Hit. As we get into more shrines later, these are the tutorial shrines where we get our powers and are forced to use them to demonstrate that we've learned how to use them. I will wait to detonate that until it is launched over here. Most shrines have optional chests, and it's usually worth going for. Remember if these little balls are metallic. Nope. Yes, you can get launched by the same things. Everything that that appears to be physics at work in this game, it's generally exactly what it looks like. We're probably going to need to get this ball into a socket somewhere. Oh, I don't think it can go in that hole. Pretty sure it can't fit in that hole. We can just go set it here. Or throw it. Shit. This is not working. Just want to launch it over to the other platform. I might have to back for it anyways if a bomb knocks it off. BD Gray, how you doing? I don't want to be standing right there. No. Was there a socket for this ball? Why does this ball even exist? Did anyone see? Don't think we need that, do we? It was for demonstration. It could be, yeah. To get that chest, I'm gonna have to get launched by this other block. Hey, Johnny K. How you doing? Look at me, I can fly! Amber. We will eventually have hundreds of amber. And there will be a lot of puzzles where we do have to take a ball like this and get it into a particular socket. Resourcefulness in overcoming this trial speaks to the promise of a hero. Every shrine will give you one spirit orb when you first complete it. And after we've done the 4 shrines the old man wants us to do, he will nudge us towards where we find out what we actually do with those orbs. Don't think it's much of a spoiler to say we're going to get heart containers or stamina containers. For every 4 orbs you collect, be able to get an upgrade to health or stamina. Alright, so bombs and stall. Because you have control over when it gets detonated. Fortunately, the timer is too long right now. So, otherwise I'd use a second bomb and throw a bomb at the heads and blow them up and not have to damage a weapon at all. That's kind of funny. His head's on the other side of a wall. They won't die until that head is destroyed. But they're harmless now. I want that Traveler's Sword. Oh, go ahead and drop the Woodcutter's Axe. Traveler's Sword does a bit more damage than that. Got a 5 damage one-hand sword. Another one of those. A 10 damage two-hand sword. Bear shield. Going all the way back to the first Zelda game, you could place bombs in certain places, and they would often reveal a passageway or some sort of secret, maybe an NPC. Even though that was pretty obvious, a bunch of rocks in an archway, you can be climbing in the mountains, and there are lots of little places you can bomb to reveal secret passages and other secrets. We could even use the bombs painstakingly slow to take down these guardians here. But for now, let's not and say we did. Really should take a quick break since we're gonna go 4 hours today and tomorrow and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Gonna have to start putting a break back in there. I think that's a good idea. Yes. Kim, thank you for the heads up on that. I think we should call it break time. And then we'll be back for a couple hours. I'd like to get to the other 2 shrines that are on the plateau. Must have marked one that was way off in the distance. And we'll start, we'll have to deal with weather and temperature when we head that way. Okay, break time for me. I will be back in about 10 minutes. Go stretch your legs, grab a drink, hug something furry or scaly. Frames apparently want to take a break too. Yeah, that's not even funny. I don't know about the timing on that, but some days I really hate my internet provider. It doesn't look too bad at the moment. We'll see what happens during and after the break. And I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Cheers.